Okay, all right.
Bring the public hearing to order Tuesday, March 24th, 2015, 9:30 a.m. Could I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Tedesco,
Here.
Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Here.
Commissioner Pulowski.
Yes.
Could everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved?
Second.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Pulowski,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. Awards and presentations, I see we have none. Public comment. Erica, do we have anyone signed up for public comment today?
We do not.
Is there anyone in the audience who did not sign up for public comment that would like to do so at this time? Seeing none. Elected officials, any comments?
Charging on, sounds like.
No comments? I have a quick comment. I'll try to make it quick. So we had the employee recognition last week, and I want to say thank you to everyone that attended that, and thank you to everyone who tolerated the inconsistencies that we may have had during that meeting. And I do especially want to thank all those that sent me emails encouraging me that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and that I had actually done a pretty good job that day. So I do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and it was greatly appreciated by myself, and I know the rest of the staff and the leadership and the commissioners. So thank you, everyone that attended. Moving on, consent calendar. Do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Pulowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. Okay, new business. We will turn it over to Deputy County Manager Ray Gonzalez.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first item before you is a resolution approving Addendum 1 to agreement between Adams County and Ground Engineering Consultants, Inc. for additional materials testing and inspection services for the Transportation Department, and we have Liz Estrada here to present that item.
Good morning. At the request of the Transportation Department, a solicitation was issued in 2014 to consider professional engineering consultants for materials testing, laboratory testing, geotechnical, and general inspection services for the 2014 capital improvement projects. Ground Engineering was selected as the most qualified firm and submitted the most cost-effective rates. The Transportation Department has 3 2015 capital improvement projects that will require materials testing and inspection services. The amounts for each program are estimates and have been determined to be fair and reasonable, and those are listed for you below. The total amount of those 3 projects estimates is $101,000. According to the terms of the agreement, Adams County has the option to renew the agreement for 2 additional one-year terms, and the Transportation Department recommends renewing the agreement for 1 additional year.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have questions for staff? No questions for staff. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment on this? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move for a resolution approving Addendum 1 to agreement between Adams County and Ground Engineering Consultants, Inc. for additional materials testing and inspection services for the Transportation Department.
Second?
Commissioner Pulowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. Next.
The second item before you is a resolution accepting a bid from Brannan Sand and Gravel Company, LLC, for the 2015 street paving project for the Transportation Department. And again, Liz Estrada is here to present that item.
The 2015 street paving project is a significant street maintenance program with over 36 lane miles in 5 different areas of unincorporated Adams County. These areas have been identified as priorities for rehabilitation in the county Transportation Asset Management Program System, which is TAMS. Included in your packet, we did list the 5 areas where the paving will occur. The invitation for bid was solicited through Rocky Mountain Online Bid System and advertised in the Daily Journal. And bids were opened on February 24th of this year, and 4 bids were submitted. After verifying the bid prices submitted, the Transportation Department confirmed that Brandon Sand and Gravel is the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Their total bid amount is $5,790,994.42. The recommendation from Transportation is to award the 2015 streets program to Brandon Sand and Gravel.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff?
I do.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
So part of this is just simply because I'm new to this process. But on contracts like this, it looks like Brandon Sand and Gravel won the contract both for a value perspective, but also they were the lowest bid, correct?
Yes, that's correct. This is a bidding situation, so it's always the lowest responsive and responsible. So they have to,
Thank you.
okay.
So for what I just heard from my colleague is that it's a state law that requires us to go with the lowest bid.
That is correct.
So what is it that prevents a company from coming in then and through change orders and other things after the fact to increase the overall bottom line?
Well, that would be the project manager and the department's oversight on the project to make sure that they don't have those change orders. And actually, over the past probably 5 or 6 years, they've been very successful in keeping those almost no change orders at all. And usually through the force account that they have in the bid document also prevents them from doing that.
Say that last part again?
They do have in the bid line item detail, they have a force account. And so that amount that all bidders across the line put that amount in their bid helps them control those change orders for the project.
When you say a force account, is this like an additional undetermined, like, account that has discretion to, if you need to go up higher, or what do you mean by that?
I'll let Renee Valdez come down and kind of
Thank-
explain that a little more thoroughly for you.
I appreciate that.
Renee Valdez, Transportation Infrastructure Manager. And that force account, it's actually a line item that and it's got a specific dollar amount, and it is a contingency fund to deal with minor contract issues.
Is that included in the bottom line of $5,790,000?
Yes,
So all those force accounts are included in these bid amounts?
yes, in every single one.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. I was just curious as to the process.
Commissioners, any other questions? No other questions. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move for a resolution accepting a bid from Brandon Sand and Gravel Company LLC for the 2015 street paving project for the Transportation Department.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson, Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Pulaski,
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes.
Thank
very
you.
much. Next.
The third item before you is a resolution approving Amendment 2 to agreement between Adams County and Clifton Larson Allen LLP for additional services for 2015. And Jen Tierney is here to present that item.
Good morning. On September 19th, 2011, Adams County entered into an agreement for external auditor service with Clifton Gunderson, now Clifton Larson Allen, for the fiscal years of 2011 through 2015. And the Finance Department contacted Clifton Larson Allen regarding the comprehensive annual financial report work they can provide. Since the Finance Department is currently short-staffed, the additional help is required, and having our contracted audit firm perform this work is the most effective and efficient approach to accomplishing this task. Clifton Larson Allen has agreed to complete the following sections and schedules in the CAFR in the amount of $15,000. The Management and Discussion Analysis section, which includes basic financial statements and footnotes, RSI supplementary statements and schedules, the statistical section, compliance section, and assist in the preparation of the local highway finance report. The original 2015 contract amount was $121,500, which included a contingent amount of $4,000 to cover any unforeseen costs. The recommendation is that the amendment adding an additional $11,000 to the contract be approved for a total not to exceed amount of $132,500.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do we have questions for staff?
Go ahead, Commissioner Henson. This is a question for Ben. Yeah. So the external auditors typically are checking the veracity of our financial statements. So we're going to have the same firm develop the financial statements and then audit them.
Right. The trial balances and all the balances are our balances. So when the audit firm looks at all the detail and all the work behind them, the management of Adams County's finance office is responsible for those transactions that are in there, and they're merely taking the trial balances and putting them into the financial statements. And so it's acceptable under auditing principles to separate those two activities, and there's no problem with that occurring.
I mean, when you say acceptable, meaning is there a specific rule on this? Accounting principles, can you point to that?
Yeah. There are rules that determine those differences, and it is acceptable for the firm. It happens in many organizations already. Clifton Larson Allen performs this duties for other organizations, so it's not unusual for this to occur.
You know, I mean, it may not be unusual, but it just seems a little bizarre. Because, you know, I mean, I'm not suggesting anybody would do anything, you know, wrong, but all I'm saying is that wouldn't you want to have some checks and balances between the people making the statements and the people auditing the statements?
Right. In the engagement letter that discusses this additional work, we as management are responsible for all the numbers, and we're responsible for checking the work. We're responsible for checking the numbers to make sure that the numbers that are input into that CAFR document are accurate. So we have obligations.
But they're not just doing the numbers, they're also doing the management discussion and analysis too, which is kind of a response to the audit. And so they're gonna also do the narrative in addition to the financial statements.
Actually, they're preparing all the numbers that will go into the MD&A, but the MD&A is still the management's responsibility. So we will be preparing all the discussion about how the assets are changing and all the significant transactions as discussed in the CAFR document will be the responsibility of the finance department.
Okay, all right. That's because I apologize. Because it does say in here, in the document, that they've agreed to complete the following sections, and it says 1, management discussion and analysis. So they're only going to do the numbers portion of it and not the narrative?
Yeah, they're going to do some numbers, they're going to do some graphs and tables and things of that nature, but we're responsible for the narrative.
Okay.
Discussing what's changing, how it's changing, how it affects Adams County's financials.
Okay.
That's our responsibility.
Thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
And it's my understanding that we're doing this because we're short-staffed at this point.
That is correct.
So is there, not discussed in this, some sort of savings on the other side that we're making some savings in some sort of salary for
Yeah.
a position that is not filled at this point?
That is correct.
Okay, so economically, this may be increasing this particular contract by only $11,000, but overall, what kind of savings are we having on this, or is there?
Yeah, depending on how long that position remains vacant, it could be up to $16,000 or more, depending on how long that position remains unfilled. It's very difficult to hire at a time when we're busy preparing all the financial numbers for the audit, but there's definitely some savings that we anticipate there. And we did have some contingent dollars in our auditing and accounting line item that we mentioned here in the public hearing write-up.
Right, so financially or fiscally, from the fiscal standpoint, it doesn't look like that there's a big detriment by allowing this to happen, the expansion of this particular contract by $11,000.
our analysis agrees with that statement.
Okay, and then as far as the comments by Commissioner Hanson, it sounds like, if I understand it correctly, that the individuals or the scope of the expansion of this particular piece of work will not interfere in the audit. Are they different people that will be doing the two different
No,
tasks?
they'll be the same representatives that will be looking at that. Furthermore, just to clarify on that, and you may not have asked for that, but they always review the numbers anyway. We prepare the CAFR numbers, and they are vetting all those numbers in the CAFR document and each of those financial statements anyway. So in reality, they are in those numbers just as much as we are.
Okay, and then I think I understood that you guys are ultimately responsible for what goes into the final CAFR, and so therefore the buck stops with you anyway. Is
Correct.
that
County management is responsible for our financial statements.
understood? I feel comfortable with this. Thank you for answering those questions.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, any other questions? Ben, don't leave, I have a question for you. There was a statement made in this, and I just want it for clarification, because I think a lot of the times, these general statements are not clarified. And the statement is that the finance department is currently short-staffed.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to give some background on that, so that people
Sure.
understand what that means, because a lot of times when we say we're short-staffed, it can mean a whole lot of different things. So
Sure.
please explain that.
Yeah, short-staffed is, in this case, means that we have a position that's a senior accountant position, and that senior accountant position is vacant. Senior accountants typically provide a very strong, a very educated and competent contribution to the preparation of a CAFR. And with that position vacant, we feel that there's not enough resources necessary to produce that CAFR with all the documents and all the financial statement preparation necessary to do it in the most correct way. So we thought it would be best to have this help added for us this year to produce that
And so,
statement.
can I ask, this is just for this year then?
Our anticipation is that this is for this year.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, any other questions? No other questions. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a statement at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move, I move that we approve resolution approving Amendment 2 to the agreement between Adams County and Clifton Larson Allen LLP for additional services for 2015.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner O'Dorisio? Commissioner Pulaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, County Attorney, any business today?
Yes, Commissioners, I have only one item, and that's, I would ask that as time allows today, you go into executive session pursuant to CRS 246402, sub 4B and E, for the purpose of receiving legal advice and negotiations regarding the marijuana tax.
Do we have a motion?
I can't wait. Yes, I moved for approval.
Second?
Second.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner O'Dorisio? Commissioner Pulaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes. Any other business?
No, nothing further.
Okay. Seeing no further business, we are adjourned.